What is up, everybody? How is it going? Austin prechtelevate Performance, coming at you live. It's Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. As you are all tuning in, let me know how your day is going. So, today, though, it's going to be a fun topic. We're going to be talking about is your metabolism broken or what is actually going on? And I'm here to tell you, long story short, your metabolism is not broken. You can't break a metabolism. If you didn't know that, well, there you go. You can't break your metabolism. There is something else that could be going on, and I'm going to kind of explain the difference between what people think is going on and what is actually happening, like 99% of the time. So, as you were tuning in, though, let me know how your day is going. Let me know your number, or not number, how your day is going. And yeah, we're going to jump into it here in just a second. But who here in the past has heard, like, my metabolism's broken, or I have a broken metabolism? Maybe you've said it. Maybe you've heard a family member say it. We've heard it in the past. It's kind of like been like a buzzword in the past that articles and things like that like to put out there. And be like, is your metabolism broken or whatever? Try these like three things and you'll lose weight. And it's just a bunch of bullshit. And so I'm going to lead with this. So a lot of times people think that their metabolism is broken, and they think it's either because of hormones or age or whatever it may be. And like I'm leading with this because there was actually just a study that came out this year, I believe, and it maybe even within the last like month or two. I'm trying to remember, but they actually found out that, as far as we know right now from the study, that your metabolism doesn't even get like it technically doesn't even get worse as you get older. Your metabolism actually, as long as you're accounting for level of activity, you're accounting for calories and you're accounting for maintaining lean body mass, maintaining muscle mass through exercise and strength training and things like that. Uh, they're finding that your metabolism doesn't really change at all that much at all as you get older. So that's cool. So now that's great news for everybody, right? Because that means that most people can stop using that as an excuse as to why they're not reaching their goals. And I'm excited for it too because it means that I can be like a jacked like 90-year-old, and that sounds fun for me. And so yeah, so what is actually going on, right? What do people actually like? What are people misconstruing when they say my metabolism is broken? Just because, guys, you can't break your metabolism. A metabolism is not something that can be broken. A metabolism is basically all of the like inner workings of your body, like coming together to keep you alive. Right? That's what a metabolism is. It's your body like utilizing energy to keep your bodily functions working, like digesting food, like your brain, your cardiovascular system, your nervous system, like all these things that like your body is doing right now, that my body is doing right now to keep me alive. My metabolism is just it's what is like basically like a like it's how my body is utilizing like my nutrition, my food and things like that to keep me alive, right? Your metabolism, everybody has a metabolism, and that metabolism can be basically a combination. What determines your metabolism? Somewhat genetic, right? Somewhat genetic. How much lean body mass that you actually have, like how much muscle that you have, how much, how active you are throughout the day, right? Your level of activity, the foods that you're actually eating. So certain foods, your body requires more energy to break down than others. So protein, that's called like, it's the thermic effect of food. I've talked about that in the past. Things of that, like there's all these factors that kind of come together that determine your metabolism, right? Like your weight, your age. I just kind of said age isn't really as much of a factor as they, formerly thought, but whether you're male or female, things like that. And so, how can how what do people mean whenever they actually say my metabolism is broken, and why is that wrong? So what's actually going on is it's not broken, like I just said. What your metabolism actually is doing most of the time is just adapting, right? Metabolic adaptation, and metabolic adaptation occurs for a variety of reasons, right? Metabolic adaptation occurs for a variety of reasons. Um, and I will say, right? I'm not gonna be um, inconsiderate and ignore the fact that some people do have, thyroid issues. Some people have PCOS. Some people have hormonal issues or metabolic disorders. Those things do exist, but if you are someone who has one of those things going on, and if you're taking medication for it, right, or even if you aren't, at a certain point, that yes impacts your metabolism, but it's not broken. It just means that you like on average, like people who struggle with like thyroid issues or PCOS and things like that, and some people who have PCOS don't struggle with this at all because there's different phenotypes of PCOS. In case you didn't know, or at least that's what they think, anyways. You know, those things impact your metabolism, but they don't make it still impossible to lose weight. They might make it a little bit harder. It might be like one of those situations where you're that kid who has to like study extra hard and be really good about studying or doing what they're supposed to be doing when it comes to your nutrition or your workouts to get to your goals. And it might not come as easy for you, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. Like I've worked with so many people who have had like Hashimoto's, who have had hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, PCOS, and they still get results when they put in the work, right? So, like, yes, that sucks and it's not fun, but if you're doing your best to manage it and you're staying on top of like following a game plan, you're going to reach your goals. So, metabolic adaptation, though, so I just wanted to get that out of the way because, that's always like an argument that I hear a lot of times. Like, I've got this, and it's like, so do the other 20 people that I've worked with that have lost weight and gotten results. Like it's one of those things. It's not fun. It sucks, and I want to be empathetic to those situations. But you know, the story that you tell yourself is what's probably going to actually be a reality. If you constantly tell yourself that you can't lose weight because you have PCOS or thyroid issues or whatever it may be, you're probably not going to because you're counting yourself out of the race before it even starts, right? And so just know that you can still reach your goals if you have those things going on. Especially if you are, seeing a doctor and getting treated for it, that's even better. That puts you pretty damn close to being on par with everybody else who has normal hormones. So, what's up, Kristen? Stairs suck. Hey, there we go. Let's go. But you know, Metabolic adaptation, though, what is it? What's going on? Like, what does that mean? And so, a lot of these like buzzwords that are kind of like that you see in the news, like a lot of them are very hit or miss. Like they're not like there's like sort of like a grain of like not even truth to it, but like sometimes they're trying to explain what's going on and like they're halfway doing it, but then people like see the buzzword broken and they're like, shit, my metabolism's broken. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm fucked. Like I'm never gonna lose weight because my metabolism's broken, and it's not actually what's going on. And what's actually happening is metabolic adaptation. And so adaptation, what it is basically is just like your body gets used to it slowly adjusts because at the end of the day your body wants to keep you alive, right? Yay, that's awesome. Like we all want our bodies to keep us alive. That's kind of like the goal of life is to stay alive, right? And do as much as you can while you can, and reproduce, I guess. I don't know. And so but your body wants to keep you alive, right? Your body wants to keep you alive, and your body does not know that there is like 30 grocery stores within 50 miles of your house. It doesn't know that. It doesn't know if food's going to be scarce or if food's going to be plentiful. So it wants to keep you alive. And so what happens is if whether you're trying to lose weight or gain weight or whatever it may be, your body will over time, your metabolism, your bodily function, things like that, will adjust to whatever caloric intake you're currently consuming. Which is why like reverse diets work. Which is why like if somebody is losing weight, like as you lose weight or as you gain weight, your metabolism changes because your body's energy requirements change. Right? Somebody who is bigger requires more energy to maintain that bigger size than someone who is smaller. That makes sense, right? And so as you shift towards a lower weight or a higher weight, or you shift to have more muscle or less muscle, your body's energy needs are going to change. So that's part of what happens with metabolic adaptation. And then another thing that happens, like I was kind of talking about earlier, when your body is like trying to, basically maintain itself and trying to survive up to a certain point, it's going to adapt to make the most of what it's got in terms of food. And so if you're somebody who has gone down this burnout route of weight loss in the past, where you're doing like, cardio 5 to 7 times a week for half hour a day, and you're, eating only 1,200 calories or less, and you're doing this every single day, guess what? Your body's like, oh shit, what is happening right now? I don't have a lot of food. Like, we're doing all this crazy activity. We need to adapt, and we need to make sure that we, you know, don't die. And so that's what happens to a lot of people is they like basically like shrink their room for weight loss, and kind of like you'll lose a lot of weight at first, right? Doing that shit, you lose a lot of weight at first, but it stops, and it will stop, and then eventually once it stops, you don't have any wiggle room left because you're at the bottom of what's like, maintainable, and then you also, are more likely to quit because you're fucking miserable because nobody wants to do that all the time. And so yeah, so that's what ends up happening. Same thing can happen in the reverse order if you do it, you know, in a constructive way. Obviously, you can't keep eating infinitely amount of calories because eventually, like, your body just can't burn it off. But you can reverse diet and you can build your calorie pool back up. Like, there's been times, like, whenever I was younger and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, there were times where, I was on a cut and I was at like 1,500 calories, and I'm like 6 feet tall or 6'1" sometimes, when I'm wearing shoes. And so it's like, like, that shit happens. I lost my train of thought. I made myself laugh. But that shit happens. Or what I was doing was like that's not healthy, right? 1,500 calories. Okay, back to the live. 1,500 calories, right? Starving myself and like not losing weight very quickly because I like jumped to that low amount really quickly, and I didn't make the most of like these incremental caloric drops. I just went from like consuming like like, I don't know, like 25 to 3,000 calories, a day to 1,500. And it's like, that's a huge drop. And so, I shrunk my wiggle room for weight loss a lot faster and made it a lot fucking harder than it needed to be. And now, like, I'm leaner than I was then. And I'm consuming about like, like 2,800 calories right now a day. And it's freaking awesome. Right. And so it's one of those things. It's like, to be fair, I put on more muscle since then, but it's one of those things like your metabolism, it's not this like fixated thing that people think it is all the time, like, right, like everybody, like when they think of metabolism, they're like, I have a metabolism, they have a metabolism, it's this thing, and it's this like fixated thing that doesn't change, but it does, it changes, like it changes based on level of activity, how much muscle you have, like how much you're exercising, you know how much food you're consuming, like all these things play a role in like what your metabolism, where it's at right now, how much you weigh, um, male, female, things like that. And so like, don't think your metabolism is broken, because it's not. It's not. It's just probably adapted to a shitty environment that you've put it into, to an extent, that you put your body into to an extent, and now you've got to get yourself out of it and get yourself back to readapting it to being at like a healthy level. And so that's all there is to it, guys. Like, your metabolism's not broken. It's just adapted, most likely. And if you have other questions about this, feel free to send me a message, because this is something that I don't know, I like to talk about. But yeah, cool. Hope that makes sense. That's all I really got for you guys today. Just a little bit of like a educational life today. Just because like every fucking time I get on, guys, every time I get on freaking TikTok or like Instagram Reels and shit like that, like, or now even Facebook's like popping Reels up. I just got a notification that I got approved for like Facebook Reels, which that's a thing apparently. But like I like every time I go on there, it's like, fix your broken metabolism. Is your metabolism broken? Drink this tea, do this thing, blah 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 blah, and it's like none of that shit fucking works. So yeah, don't think your metabolism's broken. It's not. It's just adapted, and you need to fix it. And you need to fix it by readapting it and doing healthy habits on a daily basis and create a routine. That's all there is to it, guys. So, cool. Other than that, that's all I got for you. Let me know your number one takeaway in the comments. Feel free to give this a share. If you know somebody who has said that their metabolism is broken, it's not. And feel free to share this with them because it might help them out and it might bring them into the right direction to, finally reaching their goals, right? So, feel free to give this video a like. Let me know what you thought about it. Let me know your number one takeaway. #replay if you watch this later time. And I will talk to you all later.